Glenn, what's happened to Harry? You know, people are starting to, he's sulking, he's this. But with the greatest respect to Harry was struggling in a struggling side. And for me, he was getting so frustrated, he was coming deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah. Well, he came deeper last season, and he was fantastic. No, it was like Harry last season, when you think about it, he was like a number 10 and a number 9. He was doing two roles, and he was doing them expertly. It was a fantastic season he had. He thought he was going, let's face it. Mentally, you've got to overcome that. And that's where I think he is at this moment in time. I look at Harry will be back to his best. There's no doubt about it. For me as well, in 1 year's time, don't forget, he's got a World Cup.
Yeah.
So he's not got to wait the 2 years as normal. In 1 year's time, he's got a World Cup. He will be back to his best. Once he mentally gets himself, back into a Spurs shirt.
Do you think he was promised a move? Or?
Oh, without a doubt. I think something there has gone wrong, without a doubt. Yeah. So as a human being, you're disappointed, but in the end, you have to look at things and go, right, okay, I've got to go again. And that's
what would you say to Tottenham
character.
fans that they loved you? What would you say to Tottenham fans that were beginning to get the hump a bit? What would you say? The groans were there when Harry would give it away. Or what would you say to them? Calm down. Think of all the great times.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they were at the back end of last year or the beginnings. It was all about because the transfer deadline was obviously going to shut at the end of August, so you're still playing. And I think a lot of Spurs fans that I speak to, they weren't worried. They understood if Harry went. They could understand it. But from the club point of view, they wanted it done. Do it. If he's gonna go, get it done, do it, and then we move on with whoever they bring in. And that didn't happen. And then when he didn't go, and then the attitude was a little bit strange for him. And it's human nature. Yeah. But let's be fair. My take on it is the other players in the squad have got to come to the fore. What he did last year, playing a 10 and a 9 role, he had more assists than anyone, I think, in the league, and he scored the goals as well. So the other players now for this season has got to pick him up, got to take him to another level. And don't forget, I mentioned earlier, when he was at his very, very best, he didn't have to come back as a 10 because he had Eriksen. He had a player in there that was creating. Yeah. He's now coming back and creating all season last year and doing two jobs. Someone there, if it's Mora, if it's Son's been brilliant, but there's other players have got to improve.
I've no problem with Son, but is there enough talent in there to get the best out of Harry? No. I don't see it.
No, not at the moment. Their midfield is not right. Hojbjerg I think is an excellent player, as a holding player. You've got to have midfield creativity. Now, there's players there that are so-called, Lo Celso and Ndombele, they've got to improve. For me, I don't see them as an overall player that's going to be consistent, that's going to create, that knows the game. They don't understand the game in many ways, as I see it. And Ndombele particularly, he's got wonderful skills, but he's a player that is just too much off the cuff. He does some wonderful things with the football, but we all used to do that in the playground, didn't we? Yeah. But there was no shape to the game then.
It's looking harder as well to get top 6. If you're Spurs now, you're like, top 6, maybe. You're not overly keen, are you? The amount of teams that are fighting for them positions. No.
Well, if they've got the right manager in with what if there was going, if Daniel Levy was going to change the manager, what was available, he's gone to the very, very top.
Did that surprise you, Glenn, that Conte said yes?
Yes, there was something. They went for him in the summer. Obviously, there's been a change. So whatever it is, whether it is, well, we'll back you with money if it's not going how you want it to go. The thing about Conte, as we all know, is his demands of the players will be for everyone. Yeah. From Son to Harry Kane, if you're not doing it, you're out. Yeah. And that is exactly perhaps what Tottenham do need right the way through the squad. Yeah. But he's going to have time, and no one seems to be given time. It doesn't matter what you do in football. You don't get time anymore.
Well, just on that, Glenn, Steven Gerrard leaves Rangers. Now, as you know, Celtic Rangers, both big clubs, but he wants to be in the Premier. Simple as that. He wants the Liverpool job. He's going to have to wait. Is this a good move for Villa? Now, Villa fans, I think we can make top 5 or 6. I was saying to Gabby earlier, that is going to be so tough, even if he does a great job. How do you think he'll do with Villa?
I think he'll do excellent. I think it's the next step for him. No disrespect to Rangers, but I think he wants to be in the Premier League. Stevens proved that I work with him with BT as a pundit, and we talk off the screen, and I looked at him and thought, you've got what it makes to be a good manager. He really has. And I expect him to do well at Villa. Listen, the you got to have the players. It doesn't matter who you are. You got to have the right players. He can improve them. Of course, he can improve them. He can get the system going differently. Every manager's got their own ideas. But at the end of the day, I see him as a successful man in football as a player, and I think he'll be successful as a manager. But it's going to take a bit of time as well. I don't think now Villa fans should expect we're going to get into the top 8 straight away.
12. Take this season, then
from where
try and push on again next season if you can.
But this is the strangest thing about this league this year. I mean, Villa at the beginning of the season, who would have turned around and said that Dean Smith was going to get the sack? They were playing superb. Everyone was going like, Jack who? Well, Jack Grealish. I thought a little bit like Liverpool when Coutinho left. All Liverpool fans were, we've lost our talisman. Look what they did afterwards. So, it's about building something, building a team. And I think Steven Gerrard and Gary Mack, I wondered whether Gary Mack might have been offered the job at Rangers.
Well, I said that earlier, Glenn.
Did you?
I think he's a big Rangers man.
I think these owners, though, now, especially Villas, they're like the 5th richest in the Premier League. They want European football. They might not say straight away, but in the next 3 years, they're going to want to be in the top 6. All these owners, the money they're pumping into these clubs, they want success.
Everyone's looking for it.
Well, I was going to come, just a quick one, because I want to do this Players Roulette. Newcastle.
Yeah,
I can't believe. Look, I'm not having a go. There's a player in the paper today saying already we're thinking about attacking more. We're more fitter. We've got fitter. How'd you get fitter in a week, Glenn? With a guy, I'm not having a go at Eddie. Eddie Howe's nickname's Merlin now. He's got him fitter in a week.
I could easily get unfit in a week.
Going out with me.
Going out with you, yeah.
In the olden days. Right, time now for this.
Hi, I'm Gabby Agbonlahor. I'm your croupier for today, and now it's time for Glenn Hoddle's Player Roulette.
Yeah, Tottenham England legend Glenn Hoddle was with us this morning. That was great for 6 takes. Glenn Hoddle is with us this morning after the release of his new book, Playmaker. It's out now, My Life and Love of Football. Glenn has played with and managed some of the true greats during his career that spun over 30 years. But what are they really like? So we have borrowed the roulette wheel from the famous Palm Beach Casino in Barclay Street, off Barclay Square. Where? Oh yeah, I know that one. We're going to spin it completely at random. It will then land on someone you've either managed, Glenn, or played with, or come up against in the past. All you got to do is tell us your honest opinion about that individual. Gabby, will you please do the honour and spin the wheel?
Red 32, Diego Maradona.
Oh.
Some player.
I had Ozzy down there as well.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to come out with Ozzy. Oh, no, yeah. Oh, Diego, yeah, Diego. Well, I played with him and against him. So the one
with
Ozzy's testimonial.
When he was on the dressing room, keeping the ball up.
Yeah, it was great. A
on
great
the floor.
Night. Fabulous night.
Yeah.
Al had to give me number 10 shirt up for him.
No.
Yeah. Did the right thing for Ozzy and everyone. So there's me giving me shirt up. Played number 11. And but it was wonderful. Obviously, later on in life, the handball and hand of God didn't go down so well. I've got to be honest. But no, it was wonderful to play with, and we had a wonderful time. But there's just a little story there. So I gave him the number 10 shirt. So there's a free kick on the edge of the box. We're playing Inter Milan. So I'm thinking, well, I'll do the right thing. I'll step back. I'm looking as if I might take it with my right foot. Diego's there with his left foot, and I'm looking at him. He's looking at me, and we're sort of after you, Claude, sort of thing. Yeah. And suddenly, Maxi Miller, runs from the halfway line, in between the two of us, smashes the ball into Rose's head. Diego just looks at me.
I thought for a minute you were going to say he put it in the top corner.
Oh, no. Don't be silly, Al. And Diego looked at me as if to say, who is this? And I just put a finger to the side of my head and said, crazy.
He did. Well, that was Maxi.
Now, we always know
he's a screwball.
He had some front, didn't he? But he had a bit of front to do that.
He taught Beckenbauer, calling him Maxi. Give him a couple of glasses of Montrachet. Oh, yeah, I taught, better Franz, everything he knows.
But his Diego's face was a picture, as if to say, who's this clown?
He sat on the floor of the dressing room, didn't he? Just keeping the ball up, sitting on the floor.
But it was lovely.
I couldn't do that standing up.
But he did that. Do you remember, Diego, when you're in the World Cups and big games, when he was in Italy at his pomp, if you watched him warm up or just before the game, it'd be
up.
popping it off his shoulder about 40 yards in the air and it popping it again and again. But it was all about intimidation. He would be doing all these skills before a game.
Everyone's watching the opposition. Yeah.
And the crowd, you know.
And age you're 10, you number 11. Did you run through a brick wall that day with number 11 on the Russian? Sorry, Tony. Right, Gabby, roll the second one.
Lack 4, Paul Gascoigne.
Gazza, what a genius as a player, absolute genius. And there's you know, the saddest decision I had to make. You know, as a manager, not taking him to the World Cup. He was injured at the time, and he had carrying injuries. But no, he was a character, and you know, in Rome, that fantastic performance we had to beat. We had to get a point in Italy. That was a wonderful game, and he was different class there. And when he, you know,
it got a bit heated, did it? Did you understand him?
At times, you couldn't understand.
When it gets.
No, yeah, it was difficult to understand him at times, but no, genius of a player and the great lad around the, you know.
You mentioned his name earlier. We got to do one last one. Last one, Gabby, quick.
Green 0, Ozzy Ardiles.
Talking about understanding him.
Oh. Ozzy, yeah, what a man, and what a player. Yeah, it was a privilege to play with him for probably 10 years, over 10 years I played with Ozzy. You know, when he come from a World Cup winner in '78, we couldn't believe that Spurs had bought him, and Ricardo. But yeah, Ozzy, fabulous, and
two great guys. Aren't
they were great, humble guys, weren't they?
Yeah.
So humble. They were just down to earth guys. But I remember the day when we won the FA Cup in '81, which I do write about in the book, and Ozzy 100-year centenary FA Cup final. We've won it in a replay, and we're in the bath. And I remember him running in. He couldn't hold his drink.
That was a great final, by the way.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
We got knocked out the semi-final.
Yeah, you did. I remember. Yeah, 1-0 down, 2-1 up. Sorry, 1-0 up, 2-1 down, 3-2 we won with Ricky's goal. But and Ozzy broke the FA Cup. That's all I can say. You got to read it in the book.
Really?
Yeah,
he broke it.
It's hilarious, but. He was a wonderful player.
I took him, and a wonderful guy, Gab. I took him out for lunch. It was a few months ago. He ended up in Norwich. He got the train home. He lives in Hertfordshire. Ended up in Norwich
again.
Got the wrong one.
Unbelievable.
Again,
so he's not allowed out anymore.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.